Hey everyone, welcome back to The Whole Truth. I'm Gil Bell, your attorney at law. And today I want to tell you my prediction about what's going to happen with the Tyler Robinson case now that the preliminary hearing is done. And this is just an educated guess, but I believe that there's going to be a plea agreement that spares Tyler Robinson the death penalty in exchange for life without the possibility of parole. Now, I've been asked a lot, why would the prosecution agree to such a deal? It's obvious why the defense would, right? Spare client's life in exchange for pleading guilty because the evidence is overwhelming. But why would the prosecution agree? And I can think of about 5 reasons. First of all, and the most important reason is you never know how a jury trial is going to turn out. It might be possible that some Candace Owens fan retard gets their way onto the jury and forces a mistrial with a hung jury. And I mean, although you can retry the case, it could happen again. So you never know. And the defense is obviously that's who they want to get on the jury. Number 2, even if you secure conviction, and I think it would be pretty easy, barring the circumstance I just laid out, be pretty easy for the prosecution to do based on the evidence we saw at the preliminary hearing, which again was just for probable cause. So we're expecting a lot more evidence in the prosecution's favor at a jury trial. But even if you secure a conviction, you're going to have a separate sentencing hearing. And here, where the prosecution is going to be arguing for the death penalty, the defense is going to be arguing against it. Here, the defense is going to be able to call a whole bunch of witnesses and bring up a bunch of mitigating circumstances. For one thing, Tyler Robinson's young age. They might bring in Tyler Robinson's family to talk about how important he is for their well-being. Might bring in evidence of mental illness, could bring up remorse, any number of factors. And again, all it takes is one person on the jury to be against the death penalty. So, and it might be somebody who's just morally opposed to it. Although they're not supposed to serve on a death penalty case, they might make it through. Third, there can be a completely unpredictable, random reason that there's a mistrial. Some nutbag can storm the courtroom and start yelling, Tyler Robinson is guilty, or Tyler Robinson is not guilty, or such and such. That's going to force a mistrial. And again, you can retry the case, but what if it happens again? Each time you try this case, it's very expensive for the state. Not just the actual jury trial itself, but all the preparation that goes into it between now, the preliminary hearing, and the jury trial. We're talking about hundreds, thousands of man hours of work. Then there's the appeal process, and there might be, who knows what grounds for appeal are going to be argued. And that itself is very expensive. If you have a plea deal, there's not going to be an appeal. I mean, there could be under certain circumstances, but usually that's part of the plea agreement. So for those reasons, the expense, the chance of a mistrial, the chance of going through everything and still not getting the death penalty. And then also, trials are very difficult for the victims and their families and the witnesses. What if a witness is missing? What if a witness is unavailable for any number of reasons? That's another consideration that prosecutors have to take into account. So for all these reasons, I think it makes sense for the prosecution to offer life without the possibility of parole. And for the reason of the overwhelming nature of the evidence against Tyler Robinson, it certainly makes sense for the defense to accept that. Please hit subscribe, share my channel, like, comment. I want to hear everyone's thoughts. Thank you.